Well, hello. I know what you're thinking. Hey, Jake, I thought you said people only do Q&As when they don't have any content to do. Well, guess what? Guess what the situation is. Okay, do you know what? No, I have plenty of content to do. It's just right now me and Kaya are trying to make time to do date night because we barely get enough time to see each other because we're always working, because we both do this job. And because my schedule and the type of content I do takes up so much freaking time, I barely have time to ever see her, so we're trying to make an effort to like hang out more and go out on date nights. And because in the past, month, I've made another 20,000 subscribers, so I thought maybe this would be a good opportunity to fill some of you new people in, because a lot of the comments I've been getting recently, ever since 20,000 of you new people started coming in, were questions I've already answered before. So maybe this might clear that up. So I quickly dropped a question in my Discord. If you want to join the Discord, there is a link down below. It's a super nice, open, accepting environment and community, and people are really cool, and the mods are really cool, so join in. So the first question that actually came in was from Jay Lynn, and if you don't know who Jay Lynn is, you should check out their animations. I don't know why I pointed here, I didn't put it here. There's a link in the description to their channel. They do these really cool animations. You should check them out. And the channel is growing really fast, so congratulations. They asked, what inspired you to start doing YouTube? Or what inspired you to start YouTube? Well, that's actually a really good question, because I didn't actually start doing YouTube professionally, because I did YouTube a long time ago, back in like 2007, which is where this screen cap is from. I'm not going to link you to the video because it's embarrassing, but that was back when I was still in college. That's a very long time ago. I might do a reaction video to that at some point, but it's a really embarrassing video. I started doing YouTube professionally with the intention of trying to make it my job back in 2014. It was exactly 1 year after I started watching Game Grumps, because Game Grumps is a really big inspiration to me whenever I first started. Because in 2013, I started writing my first ever album, which is Time Fuel's Revenge. So I would stay up late at night writing this new album, and I'd actually get sick because I spent so much time trying to get this album perfect, and it still sounds like crap. I mean, it has like its own charm, but it sounds like crap. But I was going through the peak of my depression. It was like the worst depression I've ever had, to this day that I've ever had. And this YouTuber that I used to watch back in college called Ego Raptor, or Aaron Hansen, he used to do like all the awesome, the Metal Gear Awesome series stuff, and I used to love that. And he posted this video to his Ego Raptor channel, saying that he was starting a gaming channel called Game Grumps. But their videos helped me get through my depression and kept me sane and focused, and just sort of filled the noise, talked over the noise that I had going on in my head, like this inner turmoil. Like a lot of depression is just, self-doubt and a lack of self-worth. And them talking and playing games and having fun drowned that out, so I could focus on writing this new album and just, not focusing on being depressed. And then a year later, my depression alleviated and I was in a better place. And I wanted to start a YouTube channel to do for other people what Game Grumps had done for me. I wanted to be a source of entertainment where people could just tune in, watch us, and not think about their depression or their problems or anything like that. They could just listen to us, have a good fun time on the couch. And judging by a lot of the comments, that's what we achieved, that's what we did. And then things moved on and progressed, and now I'm here, and I might do a video on that eventually as to how I got here. But yeah, my first ever job on YouTube, my first ever full-paying job here on YouTube was through a gaming channel. So the inspiration for me to start YouTube was A, Game Grumps, and B, to help people. Tom220 Love, how old were you when you decided to fully embrace the goth lifestyle? Well, I didn't even know it was goth that I was doing. I just, I saw J-Rockers and I saw the way they were dressed, and I was like, I want to do that. But for me, it started pretty young, because I always really liked, the villain and the fashion that villains wore in movies and TV shows. So whenever I was finally old enough to start dressing myself, I started wearing a lot of black and a lot of, like alternative clothing and stuff like that. And then I discovered Blue Banana, and things really escalated from there. But this was around the age of, I think, 13, 14. And honestly, I think it would have been younger. It would have been younger for me, because I actually lived in a town or a village in Wales where there were no other goths. There were no other people who dressed like me or listened to the type of music that I was listening to. Especially guys. There was no guys doing what I wanted to do. So yeah, it was pretty much just me where I was who dressed and did the things that I did and listened to the music that I did. Sir Skellyman42, do you have any tips or guidance for starting a band or getting more into music? I would say that you don't need to start a band unless you want to play live. Even then, there's a lot of music you can do nowadays that you can just do on your own. A lot of the reason why I haven't got as far in my music career as I wanted was because making bands is so difficult. Everyone has their own idea of how to lead a band and what needs to be done as a band and how songs should be written and how things should be advertised. And if you don't have an established leader that people respect in a band, it can literally just be 5 leaders all shouting at each other, trying to, establish dominance and give the band a direction. Also, with a lot of bands, you'll have people who think they know what it takes to become a successful band. They'll join, realize it's too hard and it's not fun anymore, and they'll just drop out at really crucial moments, which is one of the reasons why I became a solo artist in the first place, is because I was sick to death with dealing with other musicians, because honestly, they suck. I'm lucky to be in the band that I am now because the precedent was that it was music that I wrote under my name, and I was just looking for live musicians. But despite me being the founder and the key songwriter, there is this rule that we've established within the band to make sure everyone is happy with the way things are going, and that is, if someone comes up with an idea or a decision, there has to be a majority rule. If there isn't a majority rule, then you have to just accept that, the majority of the band don't want to go ahead with that. So yeah, establish a leader, establish politics within the band that work, and also respect the other people in the band as well. Do you ever get homophobic slurs because you wear makeup? If so, how do you deal with that? Says uncomfortably warm mojitos. Well, do you know what? I actually don't get that many homophobic slurs at all. But it's actually funny you mentioned that, because YouTube has been pushing my Linkin Park video, my In the End vocal cover. And it's been doing the rounds through different countries, because I'll get a lot of comments in English, and then I've been getting a lot of comments in Spanish, and then I've been getting a lot of comments in Russian. And I've been translating the comments as they've been coming in, and I've noticed that a lot of comments from Russia have been using homophobic slurs, which doesn't bother me at all. It's awful that these words are still being used, but I have no problem with being mistaken for being gay. It's just, it was really surprising to see that there are still people in places in the world that still use words like that. And, it is upsetting, not to me, just the fact that, there are still people using these words, most likely against gay people. And, people are mistaking me for being gay, and they're hurling this abuse that they would be hurling at a gay person. Advice for newer goths/baby bats. Yes, completely and utterly ignore anything elitists say to you. A lot of them will see you as a target for the pedantic authoritarianism. They kind of get something, they kind of get off on the fact that they can lord this over you, that they can tell you what to do and bully you into acting a certain way, or dressing a certain way, or listening to certain music you might not actually like, but you feel like you have to wear that or listen to that in order to be accepted by them. Just understand that you do not need to be accepted by anyone except yourself. Nobody has the authority to tell you what you are or what you aren't. There is a polite and kind way to share your ideologies with other people, what you think, and there's also a way of telling people what you think and how they should think. So there you go. Main advice is to just listen to you. Listen to how you feel. Just ignore elitists. They're subculture bullies, essentially. Amber LK Carve. What is your favorite foundation brand? A lot of people do ask me. I use Illamasqua. I use their white foundation. Skin base, I think. Captain Lucifer, who is a mod, I believe. How do you deal with elitists? As I mentioned before, you just ignore it. As soon as you accept, as soon as you realize that they actually have no power over you whatsoever, they become completely impotent. Like I've said in a previous video, if an elitist comes up to you and says you're not goth, just agree. Just agree with them. It completely disarms the entire argument. It's like, well, you're not goth. It's like, oh yeah, I know. What else can they really say? To that person, you're not goth, but how important are they really? It's like, hey, you're not goth. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Bye. And to that person and their circle of friends, you won't be considered goth. But, who really cares? You'll have your own friends that accept you for what you are. You'll know who you are. So what does it really matter? Does it make you proud to be a goth/alternative idol for many people? At 100%. I mean, whenever I first returned to being me, whenever I first started dressing alternative again and fully accepting the label of goth, because I had always associated with that label until I got onto the internet, and then people had some very strict ideas of what that meant, and I didn't fit within that box. So I suddenly felt very alienated. And all I ever saw was just this big elitist bubble that was online. And I felt really conflicted, like I didn't belong anywhere. And it was just, you know, a lot of it felt like bullying. It really did. It felt like I was back in school or college again, you know? And because naturally I'm very negative, I just associated the goth community as being nothing but elitists. And I was like, do you know what? I want nothing to do with the goth community because it's just elitists. But it's not. They just happen to be the loudest ones. But we all know that there are good and accepting people out there, and it's them that we need to be a part of. It's them we need to listen to, because hate is so much louder than compassion. I've always said that. If someone hates something, then they are going to get a megaphone, or they're going to type in caps lock, and they are going to make sure you know that they don't like you or don't like something or hate something. They are so much louder, but you have to listen carefully and closely and pay attention to compassion, because someone who is at peace or someone who is compassionate, they're not going to get a megaphone and go stand on the streets and start screaming about how peaceful they are. I mean, yes, there are protests when it comes to, you know, climate change and things like that, but that's because these are really important matters that need to be addressed by people who are not paying attention. But with a lot of things in life, people who are hateful always shout the loudest. So we need to make sure that we can drown them out and listen to ourselves and listen to other compassionate, understanding people. And ever since this channel started growing extremely quickly, one of the most common comments I get, one of the most frequently posted comments, are people who tried to get into the goth community, had a really bad experience with a group of elitists, mostly online, and because of that really negative experience, they didn't pursue their self-realization. They didn't pursue their own self-expression because they were afraid of these people that like to put other people down. And now that there's someone here on the internet with a relatively large following telling people that it's okay to be different within a subculture, who would have thought, right? Who would have thought someone needs to say that it's okay to be different in a subculture? Jesus, I hate that needs to be said, but it does. And I'm glad I can be that voice that can tell people who have been bullied and have been singled out and have been preached to that it's okay to express yourself in a way that is different to what is the norm. It looks like it's been much needed. It looks like it has. And my girlfriend does it too. You know, she's been very accepting. She also has the same ideas as me, which is, you know, you don't have to fit within a certain box in order to be considered what you want to be considered. So yeah, I'm very proud. And I'm very proud of everyone who on Instagram and in the YouTube comments have come forward and said, ever since I started watching you, Jake, I've started buying, you know, alternative clothing. I've started wearing makeup again, and I've started listening to all these types of music. I've started, you know, associating with this label that I was bullied out of before, and it's been really great. It's been really, really amazing to see so many people breaking out of their shells and standing up to people who have bullied them before. Nachoman3 asks, how do you take care of your voice? Singing and screaming can take its toll. Nachoman, that's a great name. That's a really good question, because whenever I first started singing and screaming, I was terrible. I was really bad at it. And I'm still not a really strong singer. I'm a strong screamer, but I'm not a strong singer. Genetically, you know, like my voice is just not as strong as other people's, and I do have to warm up a lot to make sure I'm in a condition where I can sing well enough. But I've been doing it for so long now that I have done damage and healed back and done damage and healed back enough times where I've learned different techniques and techniques that work for me that allow me to sing and scream without any long-term damage or even short-term damage. You know, I've been in the studio and I've done like 5 to 6 hour recording sessions, and then I've gone back in and I've done it again the next day. Like I used to do screaming in Munro a few years ago, and I used to do singing, and you know, at the end of the session, my voice would be shredded and all of the top range of my voice would just be gone. It would just be rasp, you know, and I'd be in moments of serious doubt, like, can I really be a lead singer for this band? Can I really sing live? Could I even go on tour? If one rehearsal session is destroying my throat, like, can I really do this? And self-doubt started setting in, and the way I respond to self-doubt is to just completely shut it down and keep trying and keep working. And years later, 6 years later, I can now sing and scream an entire set and still have, you know, full range of my voice and do it again the next day. So practice, practice, practice. Zilla asks, coming back to YouTube as an alternative artist in the current state of YouTube is, Oh, I think it's like complete this sentence more than a question, I guess. But whenever I first started, whenever I came back and I started dressing the way that I used to dress and associating with a label that I used to associate with, I thought this channel was dead. I thought this was over. I stopped doing the goth thing on this channel within the first month, I think, of creating this channel, because I'd seen Kaya get treated unfairly by the YouTube algorithm. And I was just like, I don't want the goth thing to ruin my chances of creating, because I really wanted to be a YouTuber. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted a way to be a voice to, to people online and share my opinions and create things for a living. And I thought the best way to do that was to try and be normal, because that's who the biggest YouTubers on the platform are. They're all normal. But as you guys know, that made me really, really depressed after about 2 years. And I finally just accepted that I'm going to have to be myself. I'm just going to have to be Goth Jake again and just do what I want to do. And whenever I made that video, I was just like, that's the death of this channel. It's over. Like, any views that I was getting, any people who were watching, they're not going to be as interested in me, but I don't care. I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to create a channel about things that I actually like, expressing myself in a way that I want to express myself. I thought it was over. I was like, this is it. No one's going to watch me now. But then I started getting those comments saying, you have some really fresh ideas as to what being goth means. And I really love that. And I subscribed. And I love your channel. And then YouTube decided to share my channel around. And even though my video didn't get a lot of views, it's only like 290,000 views or something like that, I still made a lot of subscribers even from that lower view count. Which means, even though not many people saw it, a lot of people really resonated with what I said in that video. The why do I dress like this video? Because it wasn't like a traditional sort of goth beginning, where it's just like, I heard The Cure back in 1991 and I fell in love. Which, if I was like a teenager in the 80s, yeah, I'm sure I would have loved it. But, I was a teenager at the very beginning of the 2000s, and I listened to the music that was available to me, and this is how I turned out. But yeah, it's actually been really amazing. I had no idea that there was such an audience for my brand of goth, which is different to other people's brands, and that's fine. I'm not going to tell other people what is and isn't goth. I have no interest in doing that. I only have an interest in trying to help people who have felt disenfranchised and bullied into realizing that they can be part of a subculture that they don't strictly fit the checkboxes for, if you know what I mean. And it's interesting to see that there is an audience for this, and I'm really excited to see how far this is going to go. Big Bitch Wee asks, if you could collab with any musician living or dead, who would it be? I would like to collaborate with Kyo from Deer and Grey, 100%, without question. Immediately. I didn't even have to think about it. Nina asks, what's one thing you do to relax when life starts getting to you? I don't know. Life doesn't really get to me anymore. I used to let negative things affect me, but because I'm naturally a negative person, but as of a couple of years ago, I've started to try and be more positive, which is, make it a great day thing came from. I didn't know how to end a video. And I just had this quote floating around in my head, and I don't know where I got it from. And I just said, I had a great day today because I made it a great day. And I don't know where that came from. I can't remember which video was the first time I said that. If anyone can find it, then please let me know. But it was just a quote that was in my head, and I can't remember. I think I actually did have a really great day that day. And even though I was feeling low, I got up and I did something anyway, and I felt better because of it, because I fought through my negative feelings and my self-doubt, and I got up and I did something positive, and I felt better because of it. So yeah, life doesn't really get to me anymore. And if I feel like it does, or it's starting to, then I just make it a great day. And I know it's really cheesy because it's like the tagline of my channel or whatever, but I said it for a reason, because if things are going badly, or if someone's trying to bring me down, or, you have trouble with your boss or whatever, it's just like, just make it a great day. Just ignore it. Ignore negativity and just work on yourself and continue to better yourself as a person, rise above and be positive. Juggernaut asks, what's your secret guilty pleasures in terms of bands? Billie Eilish. For a long time. I heard, what was it? I can't remember the name of the song, but it's the one where she's in that hotel or whatever. I can't even remember how the song goes, but I remember listening to it like 5 times in one day because I just loved it so much. Rogue X-rated. Okay, but now a serious question. Have you ever opened the door to get on the floor, then proceeded to walk like the dinosaur? Every time. Oh, here's another question. Rogex Reddit asked, has anyone really been far even as decided to use even go want to do look more like? Does Bruno Mars is gay? So I actually get this in comments. I don't see anyone asking that in the Discord, but I do get a lot of comments asking. The tooth paint that I use, which I'm actually running out of, it's just the liquidy, sort of thin liquid I have left at the bottom of the pot, so I need to get more of that. It's called Kryolan tooth paint. There's also a Ben Nye version, which I've also used, but the Kryolan stuff is better. It sort of goes on like nail varnish, and also comes off a lot easier than nail varnish does, but you can't eat with it on. It will chip off, but not all of it. Also, my rings are all from different places, which I've also done a video on. It's called a Get Ready With Me Plus My Rings, I think it's called, so check that out. Kiwi Sass Queen. Have you ever gotten angry at an assumption someone has made about you? Yeah, of course. And sometimes I still do. It's important not to change yourself based on anyone's opinions or, what they think you should be or what they think you are. You can most certainly defend yourself, but I've learned the best way to deal with this sort of stuff is just ignore it. Occasionally I will be in a bad mood, or I'll be, in a cheeky, sassy kind of mood, and I'll just deal with it. I'll just leave a reply, which you shouldn't do. Nova Jane asks, totally love all your videos, but I do miss your old vlog style when you would go out and about and you would just skate and talk to us about upcoming plans, life opinions, etc. Do you think you'll do any more vlogs like that? It's actually caps lock at the end. I'm a firm believer in owning things that you're good at and owning things that you're bad at too. But I am a great vlogger. But vlogging became really expensive because Northern Ireland and Belfast is not really that interesting. So I sort of got bored of vlogging here in my own city because I've pretty much done everything. So then the only vlogs I was actually interested in doing, the only vlogs that were interesting to me were, travel vlogs, which, traveling that often is very expensive. And daily vlogging was fun. I had a lot of fun doing that, but it's just so unsustainable to be in a constant state of work. At least doing it this way, I do get the occasional half day off, But whenever I used to do daily vlogging, it was, every day, bro. Shadow Jealous asks, how are you and how do you cope with all the stress you face? I'm fine. I'm actually really great. I'm actually in a really good mood, and I have been for the past couple of weeks. I've been trying not to post about how much of a good mood I'm in because, some people are in bad moods and people can respond really badly to you saying that you're in a really great mood. So in terms of how I am, I've literally never been happier in my life, ever. I've never been this happy. And it's good too because, I came from really, really deep depression, suicidal levels of depression. It was horrible. But I've managed to rise above it and make something of myself, and life is going really, really well. And because I worked for it, and I'm super proud of myself, and I'm proud of everyone who watches this channel and people who have subscribed and realized their own self-worth and realized, their own self-expression. So yeah, I'm actually doing really great. I've never done better in my life ever. And how do you cope with all the stress you face? Stress. There is stress. So, even though I am extremely happy and I'm in a really good place in my life, there is obviously still stress because, if I don't do a video or if I don't do a video that does very well, then, that affects my way of life. But the main point of stress for me is making sure that I get videos up on time for you guys and making sure I'm creating enough content to stay relevant in YouTube's climate, because it's very easy to be forgotten. If you don't work hard enough, you just won't get the results. And I've always been super dedicated to YouTube and you guys. And whenever I think about just, not doing a video or, throwing in the towel for a month and just taking time off or whatever, I think about you guys, and I think about potentially losing a lot of the progress that I've worked for. And, that can get really stressful, but, it motivates me to do work. So most of the stress, pretty much all the stress comes from, feeling like I can't get a video done, or I don't have enough time to do it, or, trying to allocate enough time to balance a very long-term relationship, getting videos done on time, making the videos good enough, dealing with all the merch and making sure that's sent out on time, or at least as fast as I can possibly do it, doing the Patreon work, just making sure everything is done on time. And if there's delays, that's where stress comes from. So thank you everyone for your questions. Hopefully you now know a lot more about me. On Monday, there's going to be something really fun for you guys. It's probably going to be, I'm not going to tell you, but This Sunday, I'm going to be streaming Silent Hill for the PS1 on Sunday, 10 p.m. UK time. So make sure you tune in and watch me run around the streets of Silent Hill. And I think we're about to move on to the hospital level in Silent Hill, so that's going to be fun. I had a great day today because I made it a great day the same way you all should too. Everyone deserves a great day, and you have more power than you think you do to make it a great one. It could be something little. You know, you don't need to rent a helicopter and sip champagne above the city. I don't know what I'm talking about, but like, you know, even just getting out of bed and going to the store, you know, it could be something little. Literally anything can make a crap day or an average day a great day, you know. It doesn't have to be incredible. It just needs to be positive. All right, I'll see you guys on Sunday for the stream, and then I'll see you on Monday for another video. Okay, goodbye, everyone.